Hello, everyone. Welcome to Barca News. It is March 2nd, 2025, and Barcelona just destroyed a 10-man Real Sociedad 4-0, reclaiming their spot at the top of La Liga table and, of course, start building a 3-point lead ahead of Real Madrid. This is the post-match live analysis. We have a lot to discuss, so let's begin. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the channel. My name is Mo, and this is the post-match live analysis where we analyze Barcelona matches as soon as they end, and where I get to interact with you lovely people in the chat section by reading your comments, answering your questions, and getting the discussion going. This is not to be confused with the Barca News podcast, which are on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, where we discuss Barcelona news and where I also get to interact with you lovely people in the chat section. Having said all that, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, drop a comment. If you are looking for any Barcelona jerseys or merchandise, make sure to Goal Kids, Give Back, or Fanatics. If you are looking to place any sports bets, make sure you hit the Bet Us. All links are down below in the description. You click on them, you get access to some pretty cool deals and offers. All right, let's start with the match analysis because, ladies and gentlemen, Barcelona just destroyed, annihilated Real Sociedad, who had defeated us during the first half of the season 1-0, but now we returned the favor and defeated them 4-0. Not only taking home 3 very important points, but also reclaiming our spot at the top of La Liga table. And this was very important because, of course, we were tied with points with Real Madrid, but that's no longer the case. We are now 3 points ahead of Real Madrid after they dropped points in their respective match yesterday against Real Betis, losing 2-1 in Sevilla. Of course, Atletico de Madrid, they won their respective match 1-0 against Athletic Club de Bilbao, so they jumped to second place. And Barcelona are now in first place with 57 points, 1 point ahead of Atletico, who have 56, and 3 points ahead of Real Madrid, who have 54. So an absolutely beautiful day, great result, because we now can start reclaiming our lead. Remember, we were 10 points ahead of Real Madrid at one point. Then we dropped a lot of points, and then we were 7 points behind them. We were able to tie them, and now we pull ahead 3 points. What a race that we're seeing in La Liga, an incredibly close race amongst the top 3 teams. And hopefully Barcelona can continue extending their lead because, ladies and gentlemen, La Liga is in our hands. We don't have to depend on other teams dropping points. We don't have to depend on other results. We can only depend on ourselves. If we do our job correctly, if we continue winning, we can win this La Liga title. So very important result today, besides the fact that, again, we returned the favor because Real Sociedad did beat us during the first half of the season. By the way, that's 2 matches now that we've been able to return the favor. We lost against Las Palmas during the first half of the season. We won during the second half. We lost against Real Sociedad during the first half of the season. We won. Now, next week, Osasuna. We also lost against them during the first half of the season. Hopefully, it'll be another victory next weekend. But let's talk about this match before we get ahead of ourselves, because Barcelona won 4-0 with goals of Gerard Martin, Marc Casador, Ronald Araujo, and Robert Lewandowski. Now, during the first minutes of the match, it was a bit chaotic. It looked like a volleyball match with the ball bouncing back from one team to team in the air. Then Real Sociedad had a goal that was ruled offsides. And then after that, Barcelona regained control of the match. They started creating chances. They were a little bit slow to get their heads in the game, which has been a constant thing that we've seen throughout this season, where Barcelona started a little bit slow. It takes them some time to get adapted to the match. But Barcelona, eventually, after a few minutes of chaos, they started getting back into the match. And that's when, of course, the Real Sociedad defender makes an incredibly silly foul. And then fouls Dani Olmo, who was head-to-head with the goalkeeper. Of course, that's a direct red card because he was the last man. And after that, of course, it was total domination by Barcelona, with Gerard Martin scoring his first goal as in the first division with the Barcelona jersey. An incredible moment for the Barcelona defender. as a result of a beautiful goal. Lamine Yamal making a run into the box, leaving defenders on the ground, makes a pass to Dani Olmo, who could have easily taken a shot at goal, but he sees Gerard Martin. I have no idea how he sees Gerard Martin running into the box, wide open, facing goal, makes the pass to him. Gerard Martin scores a beautiful goal, beautiful volley into the top right corner of the goal. And with that, Gerard Martin officially scores his first goal in first division. Beautiful, beautiful moment for the Barcelona defender, who you can see in the picture on your screen, celebrating with Marc Casado, who has also scored his first goal in first division with the Barcelona jersey on. Of course, his goal was a little bit strange. Dani Olmo takes a shot at goal. Casado tries to move out the way. The ball hits him and ends up being deflected, which I think without a deflection, I don't think it would have been a goal. I think it would have either went out or the goalkeeper, Real Sociedad goalkeeper, would have blocked it. Actually, most likely would have been out, but thanks to that deflection goal. So that's 2-0, of course. And Marc Casado, again, celebrating here in the picture with Gerard Martin, because both of them have scored their first official goals in first division for FC Barcelona. Great moment for both academy players. And then after that, it was Real Sociedad. They just completely gave up. They were a man down. They were 2 goals down, playing in Barcelona Stadium. And after that, it was a training session for Barcelona. Barcelona was just having fun, passing the ball inside the area, making 5, 6, 7 passes inside the penalty box of Real Sociedad, making run after run after run. It was just total domination by Barcelona. It got to the point, actually, that I got bored, believe it or not, because I was like, all right, what are we doing here? Like, this is total massacre of Real Sociedad. And, of course, came the third goal, shot by Lewandowski that's blocked by the goalkeeper, and Ronald Araujo is there for the rebound. And then the fourth goal, which was a shot by Ronald Araujo, things, switching. Ronald Araujo shoots it, and then Lewandowski there doing what center forwards do, which is being at the right place at the right moment, and then always onside. I don't think I've ever seen Lewandowski being caught offside. Deflects it beautifully, and then 4-0. And Barcelona could have honestly gone up 6, 7, 8-0, and it still would have been a very just result. It didn't work out, but who cares? 4-0. It's a great result, a great victory. And again, 3 very important points that allow Barcelona to reclaim the top spot in La Liga. Now, not only did we get a victory, not only did we pull ahead of Real Madrid 3 points, but also this was a great match and a great result because Hansi Flick was able to rotate. So now we're going to have fresh legs for the Champions League match on Wednesday, which is only 3 days away. We're playing against Benfica, a tough opponent. We saw what happened during the group stages. They scored 4 goals against us. So it's going to be a tough match. And of course, we're going to be able to travel there without having, tired legs. And this was very important. Again, the result not only important to regain a top spot, but very important because the way we were able to obtain that result allows us to arrive against Benfica in the Champions League with fresh legs, because we saw a lot of players being rested. We saw Alejandro Valle, who runs a lot. He got some rest. Iñigo Martinez, who started against Atletico, he got some rest. Pau Cubarsí started today, but he also got some rest because he was subbed out. We saw Frankie de Jong. He got some rest, even though he did play, but it didn't start. He only played 30 minutes, so he got some rest too. Rafinha, he started, but he also got some rest. And then players who don't get much minutes, they got some minutes, like Gerard Martin, Eric Garcia, Ferran Torres. So this was a great result. Again, not just because we won, but the way we were able to win that allowed Hansi Flick to rotate. And that is a great way to be set up for the Benfica match, because now we arrive with fresh legs. Oh, and Pedri, who also runs a lot, he got some rest too. He got subbed out. So very important result in La Liga, but also looking ahead for the Champions League match. Now, this is the lineup that Hansi Flick started the match with. And there we go. Make it a little bit bigger. But of course, Szczesny in goal with Koundé and Gerard Martin as our 2 fullbacks, Cubarsí and Araujo. Of course, Araujo starting ahead of Iñigo, again, most likely thinking about the Benfica match. Marc Casado in the place of Frankie de Jong. Again, thinking ahead for that Benfica match. And then we had the midfield with Yamal, Olmo, Pedri, Rafinha, with Robert Lewandowski up top. Now, to me, the MVP of the match, because I always like to pick my own MVP. Of course, the MVP that was chosen was Dani Olmo. He was the official MVP that was picked by La Liga. But to me, I think no doubt Pedri. I think Pedri today was another masterclass. It's getting to the point where every match by Pedri. It's a masterclass, and today was no different. I think what Hansi Flick has been able to do successfully with Pedri, which why we've seen the best version of Pedri yet, is that he's given him the freedom to roam the midfield. And we see Pedri going between the defensive midfielder, who usually is Casado or sometimes Frankie, and to the attacking midfielder, which is Dani Olmo. And he has all that space to go up and down, and that allows him a lot of freedom. And that's very important because one thing that Pedri does like no other is he knows how to read the field. He knows how to read the game. He knows what the game needs. He knows how to read the opposition. He knows how to read the opposition's plays. And his ability to read what's going on the field, it's like no other. So giving him the freedom is why we've to roam in the midfield is why we've seen such an incredible version of Pedri, because if you know he knows how to read the match and therefore he knows what needs to be done and you give him the freedom to do what needs to be done, that completely changes the dynamics on the field, because we've seen Pedri drop deep to help with the defense when he thinks we need it. We've seen him make runs to the box when when the team turns into attack, and we've seen Pedri recover balls. We've seen Pedri build plays. We've seen Pedri, make it deep passes. So this total new version of Pedri is just an absolute blessing to watch, and I haven't seen anything like it since the times of Iniesta and Xavi. And to me, again, Pedri wins the MVP of the match. And to think people were saying that Pedri was slow, that Pedri sucked, that he's injury prone, that we need to sell him. I mean, absolute insanity to think that a player like that, a player that probably only comes once in a generation in the midfield, people were actually saying that he should be sold, is just mind-blowing to me. But for me, the MVP of the match, Pedri. Not to say that there weren't other players who were also absolutely phenomenal. I think Marc Casado was once again phenomenal, like he has been all throughout the first half of the season. I lost count of how many balls Marc Casado recovered. So another brilliant match by Casado. Olmo, I think he had a really good match. Lamine Yamal, of course, destroying the defenders, dribbling like he's dribbling cones. I mean, absolutely amazing. Rafinha, another match where he was, again, off. This is his fourth match in a row when he's off. I think Rafinha is going through a little bit of a slump, but I guess he was due for a slump because he had such a spectacular first half of the season. Hopefully he can recover his form for Benfica, because we are going to need all of our players on top of their game. And then besides that, I mean, the whole team did well. Incredible match, incredible result. And now we look forward to the Champions League match against Benfica. And with that, honestly, I have nothing else to say. Easy match for Barcelona after the red card. Total domination, 4 goals. Could have been easily 8. But we take the win, we take the 3 points, and now we look forward to the Champions League. And with that, let's do the chat section. And as always, my friend Texas Transplant with his incredible generosity, making yet another donation. Texas Transplant saying, it was very refreshing this morning to wake up, make some coffee, and just chillax watching a quality training session. Gracias, Real Sociedad, for the mild workout in prep for Champions League this week. Vizca Barça. I agree with you 100%, my friend. I actually did not make coffee because I don't drink coffee. I didn't even get up. I woke up. I had my alarm. I went to sleep super late last night. I turned my alarm on. I turned the TV on. And I was like, the first 5 minutes I was watching with one eye open. Like I was like, this is tough. But like you said, this was the best result possible. Not just because we won and we got 3 points and we pulled ahead of Real Madrid, but it was a very important result the way the match played out, because it allowed us to rotate in our starting lineup, and then it allowed us to rotate throughout the match. And now we go to the Champions League fresh legs, versus had we had an incredibly tough match where all the starting players would have had to play and had to run the entire 90 minutes. That would have been a completely different dynamic, and that would have jeopardized the Champions League. But here, like you said, training session, rotated the starting lineup, used all the 5 substitutions during the second half. Players were just, taking their sweet time, having fun. It's also a good morale boost, right? It's not just physically speaking, they're going to be fresh, but hey, winning 4-0 right before an important match, it's always very good for morale. But thank you, my friend, for your comment and your donation. And let's see what everyone else is saying. And let me put on my glasses because I'm an old man. Oliver says, hi, Mo. What a game. I was in Barca for the Rayo game. This is a game I would have wished for me that day, but it can't happen every time. Yes, I agree, my friend. But hey, a win is a win. We'll take it. It would have been nicer to see the 4-0s in person, but I guess Rayo was still a win. So I guess it's something. That's the silver line. MFS Scully says, hi, Barca has been decent so far, but I really want us to do well in the Champions League. I would say we've been a lot more than just decent. Not a funny guy says, hey, Mo, have you ever seen a team in the Champions League win it because they had the easier side of the bracket? Yes. I have seen teams win it because... But here's the thing. I don't want the easier side of the bracket, honestly. I mean, we kind of got a little bit of an easier side, but I would prefer that we will have more difficult side of the bracket because it just makes it that much more special. You know, when you beat, it's like the 2015 Champions League. We defeated the champion of every European nation, well, the top leagues. And it's just made it that much more special because not only have you won the Champions League, but you won it by defeating the best. So I usually tend to prefer the more difficult opponents, which I know it doesn't make sense. Like you want the easier to guarantee that you move on. But I rather see a difficult match like for example, today, like I said it when I was doing a match analysis a few minutes ago, I said it got to the point where I actually got a little bit bored, like towards the end of the match, because we were just dominating. It was just so easy that eventually I got a little bit bored. I'm like, okay, all right, like, what are we doing here? Let's just end the match and like do a mercy rule or something. Let's just go home. I mean, it's obviously over. It's been over. I want to see, a great spectacle, right? After all, football is entertainment, right? That's what it is. It's entertainment, and nothing more entertaining than two opponents that are on the same level. And I say the same level because you can have two crappy opponents and still give you a good match. But as long as they're the same level, whether they're really, really good or really, really bad or in the middle, if they're like at the same level, they're just going to put out a great show. And I'd rather see a great show rather than, just an easy match where the players are training session, warming up. Kunal says, hey, Mo, a great win today. What do you think? Should Flick have subbed some players like Lamine, Koundé, given that we already had a match in our hands pretty early, given that we have Bentons? I do agree with, I think Lamine could have came out, but I'm guessing it's because he's so young at 17 that probably maybe Flick thinks he's better if he gets more minutes rather than less. But I agree. I think we should have seen Lamine get rested. I mean, we saw Rafinha get rested, and he runs a lot. Koundé, I think Koundé should have been for sure rested because he's played a lot. But my guess what happened with Koundé is that Araujo had to be subbed out because it looked like he had some discomfort in his foot. So I think that might have, again, I don't know for sure, but that might have thrown Flick's plans a little bit, thrown off his plans, because my guess that probably Flick was planning to take out Koundé at some point and put in Hector Fort. But the moment Araujo started, complaining of some discomfort, he probably was forced to bring out Araujo and then put in Hector Fort in his place and then drop Koundé to the center back position. That's my guess of what happened with Koundé. But I agree that both him and Lamine could have rested because, I mean, the two of them have played a lot. And the two of them run a lot when they play. Let's see. What else? Sean says, hey, got to disagree with you, but the man of the match was Lamine Yamal. He was constant threat on the right side. I mean, look, there is no right answer here, right? Because Lamine, Casado, Pedri, Olmo, they all did great. So, I mean, any of those guys, you tell me it's the MVP, I'll be like, yeah, I agree. Like, it was, to me, they were all amazing. So there's no right or wrong answer here. But I will say this. The reason why I picked Pedri is because Pedri is the brains of the operation. Pedri is the engine of this team. Without Pedri, Lamine and Casado and all those wouldn't have been able to shine as much as they shine today, right? Because Pedri is he's the conductor. And so for me, his role is just a lot more important. That's why I picked him. Again, not to undermine what everyone else did, like Lamine, what Lamine was doing. I mean, it's just a magisterial performance, right? Just dribbling through players like he's dribbling cones. And Casado, the way he holds the midfield. I mean, not to take away from what they did, but to me, I think, like I've always said, Lamine is the biggest star of Barca, but the most important player is Pedri. Because without Pedri, Barcelona wouldn't be able to do the things that they do. Go to Football says, we got a revenge after Real Sociedad. We're bouncing in front of that female Barcelona supporter. Oh, I remember what you're talking about. I remember what we're talking about. Yes, 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 yes. In case you guys don't know what he's talking about, in the first half of the season when Barcelona played against Real Sociedad, we of course played at Anoeta at a away match, and there was like one Barcelona fan. It was this lady. She was there wearing her Barcelona jerseys, and then when Real Sociedad scored, like everybody around her was Real Sociedad fans, and they all like jumping up and down, and the poor thing is just sitting there like in a sea of Real Sociedad fans. But yeah, hopefully she was at the stadium today. That would have been cool. So she could celebrate instead of being there in a sea of Real Sociedad fans. Yeah, Yomidara says, Mo, did you get to see the training session Barca just had? Yeah, it was a good warm up session. Nicholas says, Mo, how long would Flick stay with us? Don't want another Pep situation. I mean, the plan for Barcelona is to renew him. They want to extend his contract, but Flick has said, right now I'm focused on the season. Don't talk to me about any renewals or anything like that. We'll talk about it in the summer when the time comes. But yeah, the plan is to renew him. We'll see for how long, because he's also said he doesn't want to keep coaching forever. He doesn't want to coach for the next 10, 20 years or something, because he did just turn 60 and he wants to spend time with his family eventually. So I don't know how long he's going to want to be a coach, but he said that because they asked him, would you want to have like a Sir Alex Ferguson kind of situation at Barca, where, Sir Alex Ferguson was at Manchester United for 20 plus years. And he said no, because, he's getting older. He wants to spend time with his kids and grandkids. So I don't know how long he's going to want to stay a coach, but hey, I'll have him for as long as he wants to coach. I'm all for it. NK says ball playing CF would elevate this team a whole new level. Sadly, this isn't part of Lewa's game. 100% agree. Again, people keep expecting Lewa to be a ball playing center forward, but that's not him. So people are like, oh, it's because he's old. No, it was never him. Brown Lewandowski was never a ball playing center forward. He's your typical classic center forward, a box predator, someone who stays in the box, waits for the pass, and pushes it. Be like, oh, he's scoring easy goals like penalty kicks and tap-ins. That's literally what a center forward does. Center forward scores tap-ins, because center forward, his job, or typical or classic center forward like Lewandowski's job, is to wait in the box for crosses or passes, and then for him to convert them. You're never going to see Lewandowski grab the ball in the middle of the field and dribble 3-4 players and then score a goal. That's not him. That's never been him, and will never be him. He's not that kind of center forward. But yes, I do agree. I think a center forward that can ball play, like a Luis Suarez, a more mobile center forward would change things, because the thing about center forwards, your classic center forwards, your box predators, the thing about them is that they do as good as the team does. If the team is doing great, then they do great. But if the team is doing bad, they also do bad, right? Because they depend so much on the rest of the team to feed them the ball. And if the rest of the team is not doing well and they're not able to build plays and make runs and make it to the penalty box, then the center forward is just going to be useless, right? So yeah, I think a more mobile center forward would help. Aniket says, hey bro, Aniket from India, love your work a lot, and as soon as I wake up, your channel is where I head to. Barca News. Keep up the good work. Thank you, my friend. That's very kind of you. Thank you for watching, for your comment, and for your support. And let's see. And Street Fighter says 34 goals this season, but people said he is bad. Yeah, 34 goals. He just of course Lewandowski. He just broke his best record at Barca, which was 33 goals. His first season at Barca, he had 33. Then it dropped to 26. Now he's at 34. So he just scored more goals than his first season at Barca, which was 2.5 years ago. So an older Lewandowski is doing better than a 2.5 younger Lewandowski. And again, 34 goals. And we still have the rest of the March, April, May, and we still have 3 competitions that we're alive in. So that 34 could easily become 40, maybe more. And people are still telling you that he's bad. If you imagine that. Zach Urban says, hey, Mo, did you see Laporta's gesture when asked about signing Haaland? He basically implied that we're broke, which I thought was very inappropriate and mediocre coming from Barca's president. I don't think so at all. This is actually what – I mean, I haven't seen the gesture that you're talking about. But if he did say that, if he did make that gesture, finally, this is what I've been asking from Laporta for a very long time, because for previous seasons, Laporta has always been like, oh, we're going to sign this guy and that guy and giving false hope to Barca fans, when in reality, it's not possible. So no, I don't think there's anything mediocre or inappropriate about it. In fact, if it happened, because again, I haven't seen it, bravo, finally. Because a president's job is not to give false hopes to fans and socios. A president's job is to be real with the fans. Look, we can't afford this player, we're broke. Or yes, we can't afford this player because we have some fun. That's the job of the president, is being real, is being honest, is being transparent. So if he did that, if he did do that gesture, finally, bravo, Laporta. After so many seasons of giving false hope, finally, you're being honest with the fans. Barat says, hey, bro, what do you think about Jonathan David? He can come as... No, he can't, because Barcelona don't want him. Jonathan David is someone at Barcelona considered for a very long time. They've been tracking him for quite some time. And then eventually they thought that Jonathan David is someone who thrives when he has a lot of space, but doesn't do as well when he's faced with closed spaces. And that's a big problem for Barcelona, because most of the time, Barcelona play against teams who park the bus. And if you have a player that doesn't thrive in that environment, that's a problem, because that means that most of the matches he's going to play, he's not going to be able to thrive, because most of the matches that Barcelona play, they play against teams who park the bus. So therefore, Barcelona decided to move on with their search, because they need a center forward that can, operate in both conditions, in both when there's space and when there's no space. All right, we have a donation. Abhishek with the generous donation. Thank you, my friend. Says, how much we need to get 1-1 this summer after Roque? We are under the 1-1. As far as whether we're going to stay under the 1-1 come the summer, we're going to have to wait and see how Barcelona do, financially speaking, by June 30th. Because June 30th is the final day that the final fiscal day for all clubs. So June 30th is when the fiscal year ends. And that's when all the clubs turn their finances over to the Liga, showing how much money they made, how much money they spent, what are their profits, if they had any profits. And then based on that financial paperwork that they submit, La Liga decides the new wage limits and whether a team is under the 1-1 or not, right? So we're not going to know for sure whether we're going to remain under the 1-1 rule until the summer, June 30th, when the fiscal year closes and when everybody turns their paperwork over to La Liga. Also, La Liga are currently studying the possibility of changing the financial fair play rules. So there might be a change too. So until the change happens, we can't say for sure whether we're going to be under the 1-1 rule or not. We're going to have to see how Barcelona does financially speaking, because remember, the further we make it to the Champions League, the more money Barcelona make. If we win La Liga, more money for Barcelona. If we win the Copa del Rey, more money for Barcelona. So we have to just wait and see how much money Barcelona ends up making by the end of the fiscal year, which again ends on June 30th. And you have to take into consideration that there might be new financial fair play rules that could affect the calculation. Mega Kevin says he is take defenders on him that why Lamine and Rafa have space for this run, but people don't see this hard job what he doing. I don't know what you're talking about. I think you're talking about Pedri. I'm not sure. If you could clarify, that'd be amazing. And Achintia says, should Barcelona hire a dead ball specialist, both coach and players? We haven't converted a direct free kick in ages. I don't think that should be the only thing that Barcelona should look. I mean, if they can get a player that they need who can also score free kicks, great. But I don't think we should just go to the market just to look for a free kick taker, because how many free kicks do you get in a match? I mean, we got one or two today. To hire a whole player just for the one or two occasions, doesn't make sense. Now, if we find a player that fits the profile of what we need in an attacker, and he also happens to score free kicks, sure, great. That'd be amazing. Let's see. Barath says, who, in your opinion, are the top replacements for Lewa realistically? Of course, because we obviously cannot sign Isaac and whatsoever. Honestly, I don't know, because I don't even know what's realistic now at this point for Barcelona money-wise, right? Because we were under the 1-1 rule, and it looked like we would be able to sign players, but then we renewed Cubarsí and Pedri and Gabi, and all of a sudden we were out of financial fair play. Now we sold Roque, so that's going to allow us to register Inigo, Lewandowski's renewals, plus Lamine Yamal's. But that's probably going to run out. We were going to run out of financial fair play again. And then again, until the summer, until we find out how much money Barcelona made and what the new financial fair play rules, we really don't know what the financial fair play is going to look like for us in the summer. So until we know that, we really can't say, because we don't know just what the extent of our signing power, I guess if you want to call it that, is going to be. Vito says, Mo, what happened to Christensen? Should Barca consider selling him? He got injured again. Spent the first half of the season dealing with the Achilles tendon injury, recovers, gets injured with a soleus muscle. He's out for a month, recovers. Now, same muscle, soleus muscle, once again injured. He's out another month. So, yeah, at this point, I think we should definitely consider offloading him. But anyways, that is all, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for tuning in, for your comments, your likes, your subscriptions, your donations. I will be uploading, of course, news videos later today, so stay tuned to the channel. If you haven't hit the like button yet, make sure you do. It really helps the channel grow. If you haven't subscribed yet, also make sure you do. And I will see you in tonight's news videos. And as always, Visca Barça.